The atom. What is an atom? All matter around us is created by atoms of different elements coming together. Scientists believe all atoms are over 10 billion years old. The amazing fact that the latest science has uncovered is that any type of atom is more than 99.99% empty space. All matter around you, what your consciousness sees as solid, liquid or gas, is made of atoms that are 99.99% empty space. At this point, ask yourself a very important question. If all atoms are 99.99% empty space, why don't you see this empty space? This is the scientific evidence that proves we are living in a matrix built on information. The latest science tells us your whole body, your brain, everything around you is just 99.99% empty space. Because the mass of an atom is so small, scientists today don't know the real mass of atoms. What scientists believe at this moment is that if we took all the space out of all the atoms that make up the planet Earth, what we will be left with will be small enough to fit in a teacup. Just imagine everything on Earth, including all 8 billion humans, fitting into a teacup. Scientists today are not sure if there is any mass at all within an atom. The latest science has proven beyond doubt that all types of atoms are more than 99.99% empty space that is filled with different forms of energy. The claim scientists make today that any atom is more than 99.99% empty is due to the limitations in the testing equipment and the level of accuracy the latest testing technology can provide. With the equipment we have today, the latest research has shown the mass within the atom is so small a mass is almost non-existent. At this moment, scientists are unable to account for the actual mass in an atom because the mass is so small. I believe as science advances in the future, scientists will find an atom is 100% empty space, and an atom is nothing but a composition of different forms of energy. This will be irrefutable scientific proof that we are inside a simulation created by energy information. If an atom is found to be 100% empty space that is filled with nothing but energy, then our reality has to be an energy information simulation. The day science finds an atom is nothing but energy is the day everyone will have no choice but to believe that we are living inside a matrix. I believe we will discover this amazing fact within the next 5 to 10 years. An atom can belong to any of the 118 different types of elements, but they are all 99.99% empty space. The neutrons, protons and electrons that make up an atom are all different forms of energy. Again, ask yourself, if an atom is so empty, why don't we see it? Your consciousness is designed not to see this vast emptiness. Your consciousness is designed to see the information the atoms provide. An atom is nothing but information. In the unique arrangement of the neutrons, protons and electrons, every type of atom represents a bit of information. Just like we humans have the digital system where information is represented by zeros and ones, in this universe information is represented by the way the neutron, proton and the electron are arranged and how fast they are vibrating. Every atom has a unique number of neutrons, protons and electrons. By the unique number of neutrons, by the unique number of protons and by the unique number of electrons within an atom and how fast these components are vibrating within the atom, these different atoms represent information in creating our reality. The components of the atom, the neutrons, protons and electrons, are always in motion within the atom. These components within the atoms are always vibrating. What we see as solid, liquid or gas depends on the vibrating speed of the components within the atom. By exchanging electrons, these atoms bond and repel each other to create everything we see as reality. Every type of atom has different numbers and different arrangements of the same three components. Every type of atom has a different and unique number of neutrons, protons and electrons which are arranged in a unique pattern. To understand how atoms represent information, take a look at this example. If an atom has 118 neutrons, 79 protons and 79 electrons, it's a gold atom and no other element has this configuration. If an atom has 60 neutrons, 47 protons and 47 electrons, it's a silver atom and no other element has this configuration. If an atom has 34 neutrons, 29 protons and 29 electrons, it's a copper atom and no other element has this configuration. Each type of atom has a unique number of these three components arranged within the atom. In every atom, the neutrons and the protons are arranged in a clump in the center of the atom, and the electrons are arranged to rotate around this center clump. Now ask yourself, can all these atoms be created with such mathematical precision without intelligent participation? So now you understand enough to think of atoms as bits of information building blocks. The different types of atoms are different types of smart building blocks. In the way the components within the atoms are arranged, every type of atom represents information. There are 118 different elements or 118 different types of atoms. We use these 118 different types of building blocks to create everything around us. The atom is the primary fundamental component of our reality. Everything in this universe is made of atoms. Everything man-made, every planet, every star, all life forms are all made of atoms. All atoms are made of three components: neutrons, protons and electrons. Everything you see in this universe is made up of different arrangements of neutrons, protons and electrons, which are three forms of energy. Despite all the atoms having the same three components, the neutrons, protons and electrons, each element is different from another element in many ways. Each element is different in the unique number of components within the atom. They melt and boil at different temperatures. Each element is different in hardness, in color. Each element is different in density or how they react to gravity. Each element is different in conductivity or how easily electrons flow within the element. Each element is different in electronegativity or how strongly its nucleus holds onto electrons when bound to other atoms. Each element is different in ionization energy or how much energy is required to move an electron, and in many other ways. Scientists can't explain how these atoms can be so different when all the atoms have the same three components. To imagine how neutrons, protons and electrons make up everything in our reality. Imagine the neutron to be an orange fruit. Imagine the proton to be a green apple. And the electron, which is smaller, to be a red grape. So now imagine everything in this whole universe is made with different arrangements of oranges, apples and grapes. And imagine these fruits are all 99.99% empty. The speed they vibrate at, and when the grapes or the electrons change location, the reality these fruits create also changes. Now take your time to visualize this for a few minutes. Look at everything around you. Imagine everything around you, including your body, is made of oranges, apples and grapes. Ask yourself the following questions. How did so many identical oranges, apples and grapes come into being? How did all these oranges, apples and grapes know how to work with each other? How are all these oranges, apples and grapes abiding by the laws of chemistry and laws of physics? Imagine how every atom of one element has the same construction. Every oxygen atom in this universe is constructed the same. This is the case with every atom of every element. All the atoms in this universe were created with unbelievable precision and accuracy that lasts forever. You must understand, everything you see is created with just different arrangements of neutrons, protons and electrons. Every neutron, proton and electron in this universe are all the same. They are the same size, they are composed of the same subatomic components, and when creating matter they behave the same way. The components of all the atoms in this universe are identically the same. In other words, every type of atom in this universe has the same parts arranged in different ways. The atoms can exchange electrons back and forth millions of times because all the atoms are built with the same components. Just like a bottle and its lid, atoms were built to work with each other. If I told you millions of random events created all these interconnecting or interlocking atoms that work with each other with deterministic precision, will it make scientific sense? To understand atomic precision in simple terms, think of your mobile phone. Every time you charge your mobile phone, you get a new set of electrons in your battery. But every electron that comes into your phone behaves in exactly the same way. If one electron in a billion was behaving differently, your phone will not work. Every electron is the same size, they travel at the same speed. By creating precision gates such as transistors, we control and manipulate their flow precisely to get them to do what we want. We are playing with the building blocks called atoms. This precision we see was not created by humans. We use the precision of the atoms and the electrons. If there are random events, how come there are no random events in the case of the electrons? How come we don't have one electron behaving differently? Ask yourself how every electron behaves the same way. How does one electron know how another electron behaves? This is possible because every electron is connected to the same software. All three components of an atom behave with deterministic precision because every atom in this universe is controlled by the same software. The atoms even communicate with each other to negotiate these functions. Ask yourself, what is controlling the precision of every atom, every electron in this universe? How are these nanoparticles communicating with each other? An atom is made up of nothing but many forms of energy. And atoms create everything in our reality. This is the science we know today. There are no faulty atoms. If there was just one faulty atom, this universe would fall apart. A faulty atom cannot exist. If there was just one faulty atom, sooner or later it will affect all the other atoms and this universe will come to an end. All the atoms in this universe abide by gravity, time and many other factors with deterministic precision. There are 118 different elements, and these 118 different elements follow a set of rules on how each element reacts to gravity, how to react to time, and how to react with each other to exchange electrons to make every chemical reaction possible. Every atom can go through trillions of reactions and exchange electrons back and forth to connect and disconnect with other atoms, but the components of the atoms remain unaffected and unchanged. Humans didn't create these laws of chemistry, we just understood the rules from observing what the atoms do. An atom is representing information by the unique number of components and the way these components are arranged. When atoms exchange electrons and change that arrangement, the information the atoms represent also changes. The electrons in the atom are the exchangeable component. This exchange of electrons is data transfer. Each atom is nothing but information in an arrangement of energy. Apart from this information that an atom represents, an atom is 99.99% empty space. All the other related fundamental subatomic particles are present to support the atom to function. Atoms cannot be created and atoms cannot be destroyed. There are no random events with atoms. Each element works with deterministic precision with another element. The oxygen atom, the iron atom, the gold atom, the mercury atom all have identically the same three components or the same neutrons, protons and electrons. But to your consciousness these different elements appear so different. Ask yourself, how is that possible? This is possible because your consciousness is designed to read the information the atom represents. The atoms are the core construct of the matrix we live in. The atoms and the electrons are the high-tech building blocks used in human technology. These smart building blocks are a part of God's technology. Everything we have in the form of technology today was possible 13 billion years ago. We had the same atoms and the same electrons 13 billion years ago. All the technology humans will discover in the next million years is possible today. We are just furthering our understanding of God's technology. The technology humans have today is what we have understood of God's technology. Remember, humans did not create the technology the atoms and the electrons deliver. We just set up the atoms to create everything we have. If one understands the atomic workings of all the types of atoms in our universe, one can understand such a perfectly working system cannot come into being by a series of random events. For life to exist, what we inhale is what the trees exhale, and the trees inhale what we exhale. Every animal has its own blood configuration. The blood of each animal on Earth is a different configuration of chemicals that support the specific functions of that animal's body. If one studies these simple examples, one can understand the chemical workings of nature cannot come into being without being designed. The atoms create everything in this universe with such precision. There is no scientific way this precise interconnecting system we call nature can come into being by millions of years of haphazard random events. There are no random events in nature. How can random haphazard events create such interlocking precision? Every oxygen atom is exactly the same anywhere in this universe. It's the same with every other element. How can random events create so many oxygen atoms with 100% accuracy? Any form of matter is created by atoms. All atoms are more than 99.99% empty. All the atoms in this universe are made with 100% precision. Atoms communicate with each other and negotiate everything to create a stable reality. Every atom knows which atoms it can bond with and which atoms it must repel. How can every atom know what it should do with an approaching atom? All the atoms communicate with each other to complete these functions. One atom can communicate with another atom because all atoms are connected to the same software. There are no random events with atoms. Every atom works with deterministic precision with every other atom. In the arrangement and the vibration of its components, the atom represents information in this universe. There can be no scientific doubt that we are all living inside a matrix created by the gods. All content in this video was excerpts from the book The Real Creator, available at Amazon Kindle. The link to the book is provided in the description below.